Doreen Granpeesheh is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen.
2008 says, my son, who's 8, also uses his verbal skills to mand for things and answer very, very simple questions like, how are you doing? And he answers, I'm fine. But how can I help him to start a conversation? A very common question that we get here.
Really? Gosh, there's such a complex answer to that. So I'm going to try and simplify it. So there's a series of steps that we generally go through in language development, right? So the very first one is asking for things. And if you think about just typically developing, let's say, 1-year-old babies, they are always asking for things, right? Juice, mama, this, that, whatever. And they're also, if they're not using their words, they're also pointing, which is essentially, I want that, I want this. And so manding or requesting items is the very first, earliest, it follows imitation, but anyway, it's one of the first kind of independent types of language that we exhibit as people, as humans. The next one is labeling objects. So, and often our kids will label objects because what they are trying to accomplish is not that they want the object, they just want you to share their thoughts. So this is a very, very important part of development, which is when, like imagine your toddler sitting in the back seat of the car, you're driving, and they are constantly labeling the things they see, right? Fire truck, tree, red, whatever it is, right? And they're just labeling, and the only thing they want out of labeling is for you to share that thought, right? And to see what they're pointing to or what they're actually labeling, which is the first kind of really, really, not the first, but one of the most important, significant types of what we call joint attention, right? They're like, hey, look at what I'm seeing. And that is a really key next step that your child has to develop. After tacting, that's called tacting. After tacting, we go into what's called interverbals, which is just commenting on things that are not necessarily present, right? So you could just say, for instance, you ask the child a question and they don't have to look in order to answer it. So like, what color is the sky? Blue. Or, what did you eat? Cake, or whatever it is. So, and that's interverbal, which is controlled a completely different way. But the question asked was, what do I do to get my child to conversational level? And it's a lot. It's not just teaching a few labels or a few interverbals or anything like that. Your child, what we generally do is we build conversation. So we will start with responses. As I said, we'll usually start with mands and then get the child tacting. But at the same time, we're also teaching the child a variety of different just labels. So, for instance, things like object labels, what is it? It's a truck. And then we go on to colors or attributes of those labels, like all the different colors, the different sizes, all that, because what we're trying to do is expand the speech. Now I will ask the child, and I'll have 3 trucks, and I'll say, what is it? And I want the child to say, it's a blue truck, it's a green truck, it's a big truck, it's a little truck, that kind of stuff, right? And then now we're at, let's say, 3 to 4 word phrases. It is a blue truck. And then you'll go on to much more abstract language, like, what do you do with a truck? What do you do with scissors? That kind of stuff. And you start to have the child expand their language. That is kind of the next step. You're still not at conversational. Conversational speech is really advanced speech. It gets you to the point where you would have to go through lessons where you're teaching your child everything from these are the things I'm interested in, but those are the things this other person is interested in. So I have to learn to share and listen as well as talk. When they talk about something, I have to be able to build on it. That's another lesson. Like someone will make a comment and you have to be able to build on that comment. Another lesson is how do I, if the subject has ended, how do we introduce a new subject? That's a different lesson. Another conversational skill is if the child is moving away, how do I get them back? That's called repairing conversation. There's about 10 or 12 different lessons that all have to be taught in order for a child to actually converse, take turns, know the appropriate subject, know the appropriate audience, be able to, keep everybody's interest, pay attention to body language and those types of things so that they can react appropriately. But for now, I don't think your child's there yet, but for now, I would suggest that you go back and focus on tacting, which is just kind of labels you just teach the child to label as many things as they can in their environment. Let's start there, and then gradually you'll build on those labels and expand speech.
Okay, so let's call the elephant out into the room here, because all the things that you just described, I think the thing that I want parents to know the most is that all of this takes time.
Oh, yeah.
And we're talking hours and weeks and months and years. And it's like pizza dough that you got to massage it, and you got to massage it on a regular basis or it snaps back.
That's right.
And here's the problem that what people have access to usually freely is this much speech therapy. And no one is ever going to fund you enough speech therapy to be able to do what Dr. Granpeesheh is talking about. And to the point where some speech therapists don't even know how to get past the labels because they've never been given the funding to get past them. Now, there's some great speech. We have a speech and language pathologist who's going to be joining us for a whole series here on the show that she's going to give you some short lessons to be able to do. Because I told her that this is the thing that we get asked probably the most, Dr. Granpeesheh. Your kids have been given this much speech so that they know how to say water, but not how to say, I'm feeling upset today, or my friend just stepped on my foot. Well, how do you feel today? And that back and forth. A lot of us got to speech because we had good ABA, good quality ABA, and we doubled down and got enough of it. And they were good trained ABA therapists so that they knew how to do that. But for my kid, it was 40 hours a week. For some people, it might have been 30 hours a week, but it was a lot for more than a year.
If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.